Good tidings, ladies and gentlemen of the Lodge, and welcome back to the channel. We are once again serving up another Kingdom Hearts video where today we are going to be investigating Brain and whether or not he is headed for Quadratum. Those of you familiar with the channel will recall one of my latest podcast episodes, Candidates for Quadratum, where I went over a number of characters and the likelihood we might see them in the world of fiction. I did make brief mention of Brain, but didn't dive too deep into it because I thoroughly believe out of all the characters in our cast, Brain is perhaps the most likely one to end up in the world of fiction, or more specifically, Quadratum. So prepare yourselves because today we are reality hopping our way into an all-out discussion on Brain. Starting with our first point here. In order for Brain to end up in the world of fiction, it is not only going to require that Brain be extremely clued in on what's going on, but also require that he's being set up to be a major player in the story. The good news as far as this goes is that Brain fits the bill. When you consider that Brain A. has a book of prophecies, B. has an understanding of the data worlds, C. knows some semblance of the Master's plan and wants to stop it, D. knows about the Ark and the dandelions being sent off, E. is Ericus's ancestor, and F. not only ended up in Scala ad Caelum, but had somebody there expecting his arrival. When we consider all of these points and remember just how important Brain was in the Union Cross finale, we can see he fits the bill for both being extremely clued into what's going on in the plot and to seemingly having a major role to play in the future, which will lead me into my next point. Missing Link. So Nomura has stated in an interview that Missing Link is going to bridge the gap between Union Cross and the modern era, more specifically Dark Road, which means it's very possible that the name Missing Link implies connecting Scala ad Caelum to the world of fiction, or perhaps again, more specifically Quadratum. When we also consider that Xehanort, who lived in Scala ad Caelum, was also aware of the world of fiction, the point becomes all the more plausible. Not certain, but definitely plausible. Secondly, in regards to Missing Link, it seems apparent that Brain is going to have some kind of major role in this game, as he was the only familiar face we saw in the trailer. But let's consider Brain, his personality, and motivations for a second. Brain wants to be a virus in the Master's system, and if Brain is truly going to keep up, he's going to need to eventually become aware of the world of fiction, or else he stands no shot. And let's consider this for a second as well. The character's name is Brain. With a name like that, he's gotta be a major player on the information front, no? My gut tells me he's going to become aware of the world of fiction, and maybe even Quadratum itself. I mean, somebody has to be keeping Strelitzia company, right? At the end of the day, Brain has an investigative mindset. I'd be honestly shocked if his time spent in Scala ad Caelum that he doesn't eventually learn about the world of fiction. My last point about this is actually going to point to Brain's lineage, and most notably Ericus. We see in Dark Road that they make mention that Ericus's grandfather disappeared. Where oh where could Brain disappear to? Where does it make sense for him to disappear to? When I try my best to think about it, with the likes of Strelitzia, Sora, Yozora, Riku, Luxord, and the Master of Masters in Quadratum, I'm inclined to believe that Brain would have an interest in being there. Who knows? Maybe Ericus's ancestor making his way to the world of fiction is what left a paper trail for the likes of Xehanort to discover it for himself. Now look, none of this evidence is certain or conclusive. I honestly believe we don't have enough to chew on to make a concrete point between A and B. However, I do believe the breadcrumbs we've been left with leaves us enough to start speculating that Brain really might be headed towards Quadratum in the future. There is so much we have yet to learn about this era of Scala ad Caelum, and frankly the possibilities are endless. I truly look forward to watching them play out in Missing Link. Brain was one of my favorite characters in Union Cross, and it appears to me that the narrative is setting him up for a huge role in the future. I mean, in a story about hearts, when you got a character named Brain, you know he's gonna be some kind of major player. However, what that role is and how big it will be exactly is anybody's guess. I just happen to think the stars are starting to align for this man to end up in Quadratum, but only time will tell. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to share your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe for more Kingdom Hearts content. Be good to yourselves and each other, and I will see all of you beautiful sickos and normies next time.